Welcome everybody to episode 46 of the Ham Podcast. I am half of the host, right? I'm well, not half of the host. I'm half of the show, John Helmke. Welcome everybody. So like I said, Mike is still out handling some business. So I mentioned last week, right, that while Mike is out, Ham will now be changed as in Fat Boy. Welcome to the Ham Podcast. Once Mike comes back, it's Helmke and Mike again. But we miss you, Mike, if you're out there watching. We miss you. Can't wait till you come back, buddy. See you soon, hopefully. Now, it's been a good week, everybody, right? Since the last time I saw y'all, we had a holiday, which was Halloween. It was great. It was exciting. I went to an amazing Halloween party. It was so much fun. It was great. It was a great Halloween night. You know, I worked, but hey, it's all right, right? It was good. Can't complain, as they would say, right? Because if we did, who would listen? Who would care? Nobody. Nobody would care about John Helmke complaining. But that's why John Helmke doesn't complain, because I do what I do and I does it. All right. So, guys, girls, ladies, men, women, children, parents, adults, he, she, they, them. Welcome to the Ham Podcast tonight, because we have got one hell of a packed show for you. I've got tons to talk about. Again, we are live on Facebook and live on Twitch. So if you go to Twitch, you can search the Ham Podcast, all one word, all lowercase. That's TheHampodcast. You can watch me there live, comment with me. If you're watching me on Facebook, you can comment with me live on Facebook as well, wherever you feel most comfortable. I just want to thank you for joining me. Now, we got a packed show for y'all, right? And I want to jump right in, because like I mentioned, we've got a lot to talk about, right? I'm a college football fan, and I know a lot of y'all out there are, and maybe some of y'all aren't, right? Maybe you're just not aware of the excitement that is college football. Right. In the NFL, of course, we have rivalries, right? You got the Cowboys and the Redskins, right? Cowboys and Niners. You know, you've got rivalries, right? But in college football, the rivalries are just so different, so much more. They're bigger, right? One of my favorite, of course, is the Longhorns versus Oklahoma Sooners, right? That's the Red River rivalry. But then up north, you got two schools. You got the Michigan Wolverines and Michigan State Spartans, right? They play for the Paul Bunyan trophy, right? These are rivals, in-state rivals. They can't stand each other. And this past weekend, they played each other. And Michigan's ranked higher this year. Michigan's got the overall better team, right? Well, Michigan put a nice little whooping on them. And as the game's over at Michigan Stadium, right, the teams walk through the same tunnel. Every game, right? It happens. If you're playing at Michigan Stadium, right? You walk through the same tunnel. Well, this time, a Michigan player, we got Eric Alvarez talking about Gigamaggies, right? A Michigan player kind of jumped the line and was running to the locker room to get to his locker room sooner. And some Michigan State players didn't take too kindly to that, and they beat his ass. It was caught on video. Several Michigan State players jumping this one player, and then another one on a video released the next day. They show another Michigan State player, swinging his helmet at the other guy. What's going on? Cousin? Welcome in. It was bad. It was a bad scene, right? After the game, the Coach Hardball of Michigan Wolverines was, talking about how two of his players were physically assaulted. And on video, it looks bad. They beat the shit out of those two boys. And they sustained some injuries, right? So the video was released, of course, because these kids these days record everything, right? So Michigan State has now suspended 4 players. Yeah, they are getting kicked out. They suspended 4 players. They're probably going to be kicked out of school. The one swinging the helmet, it took him a little bit to identify him, but apparently he's been identified now, and he's a star player for Michigan State. He's probably going to be removed for the program. And it's at a certain point, yes, you're playing your rival, and yes, you got your ass handed to you. But why go out there and in the locker room and start jumping these kids, right? Start jumping these other young men. If you really wanted to beat their ass, you should have did it on the field, right? You should have beat their ass on the scoreboard, but you couldn't. So now you want to go out there and you want to jump them. sad to see, right? After a good game, it's very sad to see. But hey, that stuff like that happens with rivalries, right? Back in the day, you got, when the 49ers and Cowboys were playing, you got T.O. runs out to the middle of the star and, spreads his arms looking up. We didn't take too kindly to that. We went out there and blasted his ass, and, a scuffle ensued, right? So all kinds of rivalries cause fights. Baseball rivalries, we know, remember Yankees and Red Sox. You got Zimmer, the old assistant coach getting tossed by Pedro Martinez. That shit was funny. Rivalries bring out the worst in people, and I love it, right? I'm good for it. But at the same time, I don't want to see people getting beat like that, jumped in a in a hallway. I'm not for that, right? I'm all for the extracurricular as far as talking shit and the back and forth banter and maybe a push here or there. But if you really want to do it, make it even, right? Both teams, square up or kick their ass on the field. Unfortunately, Michigan State couldn't do it on the field, so they had to try to do it in the locker room. But like Eric Alvarez says, those guys are getting kicked out. They're getting suspended, probably kicked out of the school. So, dumb for them, right? And it's 4 players, right? Tank Brown, Kerry Crum, Angelo Gross, and Zion Young, right? They've all been suspended from Michigan State. So shame on them, man. Shame on them for doing that. And now, Michigan State is going to have to deal with losing 4, if not more players. But hey, we'll see. Speaking of college football, the first official college football ranking has been released. And we've got our first 4 teams, our top 4 teams, right, that'll be in the playoffs. You're looking at number 1, they've got Tennessee. Now, don't get me wrong, Tennessee is looking strong this year, right? But I thought it would have been Georgia. But hey, number 1, Tennessee. Number 2, Georgia. Number 3, Clemson. I'm sorry, number 3 is Ohio State. Number 4, Clemson. So those are your top 4 teams in your college football playoff in the first official release of the ranking. Tennessee, Georgia, Ohio State, Clemson. And then you got, I forget who 5 is. And then you got Alabama at 6, right? And then you got TCU at 7. So Alabama is still right there. They still have a freaking chance to get into the playoffs. It's ridiculous, man. Alabama just always finds a way to kind of sneak their way in, even with the loss. I hope they don't make it this year. I'd love to see Alabama not be in the college football playoffs, but we'll see what happens. Surprisingly, and maybe not surprisingly, my Longhorns are ranked 24 in the first release of the college football playoff ranking, but our 3 losses have come to very good schools, right? Alabama, Oklahoma State, right? So we've had some tough losses, yes, but they're to highly ranked teams. So we still got a tough schedule ahead of us. Bama's actually 6. I could be wrong. I can double check that, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting, these college football playoffs, because anything can happen. So yeah, you got. Yeah, so here it is, right? You got Ohio State. I'm sorry, you got Tennessee at 1. You got number 2, Ohio State. Number 3, Georgia. Number 4, Clemson. Michigan is number 5. And then Alabama, number 6, with TCU, number 7. Right? That's the first official college football release. Tennessee's looking good, man. I mean, Tennessee has come out this year. They've got a great offense, good young quarterback. So I'm looking forward to these the rest of the season, right? Texas still has a tough schedule, so we're gonna see what happens, right? Because college, that's one thing I love about college football, man. You never know. And then Michigan, Michigan's ranked number 5. So one more time, let me make sure I got this. It's Tennessee 1, Ohio State 2, Georgia 3, Clemson 4, Michigan 5, Alabama 6. Those are your top 6 schools, and then right behind Alabama is TCU at 7. So it's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be very interesting. I'm excited. You got Alabama at 7-1, Michigan at 8-0. Texas ain't back. I agree. We probably need another year or two. And A&M, y'all are struggling a little bit. And then with all the off the field issues, I feel for you, man. They're gonna have to clean it up a little bit, right? A&M, they got all the talent on the field. But if they can't keep it on the field because of these off the field issues of marijuana, shit like that, it's going to make it tough for y'all to win games. So, but hey, I'm excited to see what the rest of the college football season has. Now, let's make a transition into the pros, right? Let's talk about pros. If you are a pro fan, yesterday was crazy with all of these NFL trades, man. Absolute bonkers. Of course, a couple weeks ago, it all started with Christian McCaffrey. All right, Eric saying that the off the field issues were false. They were vaping. Okay, so they were vaping. All right, I'll take that. I'll take that. Still stupid. Yes, I agree. I mean, why even put yourself in the realm of getting caught with something, right? So I agree with that. But yeah, so NFL trades, right? All started a couple weeks ago with Christian McCaffrey going to the Niners. That was huge, right? That was a couple weeks ago. But then yesterday, it started. You had Roquan Smith from the Bears going to the Ravens. That was crazy, right? I didn't see them trading Smith, but they did. Then after that, you got Miami getting Bradley Chubb from the Broncos. They've improved their defense now, right? That's a big pickup for Miami. And let me tell you something. Miami's looking scary. Miami's trying to make noise, right? With this team, Tua seems to be him, right? Yeah, I agree. Eric Smith to the Ravens is very nuts. But Tua seems to be that guy with Miami. He seems to be, hey, they put some weapons around him, and he seems to be shining with Tyreek Hill, with Waddle. He's got a good offensive line. They got a good, decent running back, and now they're getting their defense stacked up. Their defense was already pretty solid, right, with Byron Jones in the backfield. But yeah, Miami is looking like the Bills a couple of years ago. I agree. And you know, so, but then Denver picked up the running back in that trade, Chase Edmonds, a first-round pick 2023 from the Niners, and a 2024 fourth-round pick. So Broncos got some good draft picks, right? But yeah, Bradley Chubb to the Dolphins. Then we had Chase Claypool from the Steelers going to the Bears. Didn't see that coming. I mean, Claypool hasn't had the best season, but still didn't see that coming, right? That was crazy. Yeah, I couldn't believe that. And then one of my favorite young tight ends in the league, right? TJ Hawkinson out of Detroit got traded to Minnesota. That helps Minnesota's offense. They already got Thielen. They already got Jefferson. Now they got a good young tight end in TJ Hawkinson. Eric says until Denver gets rid of Russ, they won't be shit. I agree. I don't think that was a very good fit. And we're going to talk more about that Russ thing in a second. Yes, Claypool is. He is. I think he does have a lot of talent. Then you have, this is another one. This one upset me as a Cowboys fan. The Eagles go and get Robert Quinn from the Bears. I'm like, really? The Eagles are getting better on defense? Like, fuck me. Like, come on. Yes, I agree. Dan Campbell was crazy for that trade. But hey, who knows? Maybe he didn't feel like TJ was the man, right? TJ has had some injuries in his career as well, so maybe that has something to do with it. But yeah, Robert Quinn getting traded from the Bears to the Eagles. I was like, I don't want the Eagles to get better this year. No. Like, come on, really? They already got a good offense. Now they've got an even better defense. This is one that surprised me. Atlanta trading Calvin Ridley to the Jaguars. I agree. The Eagles are salty as fuck. But yeah, Calvin Ridley getting traded to the Jaguars. And let me tell you something. That's only going to help that young quarterback, right? The Jaguars' young quarterback, that's only going to help him. He needed some more weapons. They have Christian Kirk. They picked up during the offseason from Arizona. But it just hasn't been quite meshing yet. But, you know, to get Calvin Ridley, yeah, and you know what, the Jags are building over there, Eric. They've got a good little squad. I'm excited to see them in the next 2-3 years. And then here you got the Chiefs. People were like, the Chiefs still need another receiver. Juju's okay, but he hasn't been a breakout. And then what do? They go and get Kadarius Toney from the Giants, their young wide receiver, right? So the Giants give up Toney. Very surprised the Giants did that, especially since they were winning. And then Buffalo, right? You're probably the number one team in the league, and you say we need to get better. So they go and trade for Nyheim Hines out of the Colts, which I don't care what anybody says. Yes, Jonathan Taylor's him. Jonathan Taylor's that guy. He's the number one. But Nyheim Hines has the ability to be a number one. So the Bills trade for him. The Bills picked up Hines and gave up their running back Zach Moss and a 2023 conditional 5th-round pick. So the Bills are still trying to get better, and I love it. And I'm a Bills fan, right? It's just, man. And then Miami goes and picks up another running back, Jeff Wilson from the 49ers. They trade for him. Then you got James Robinson trade, right? The Jags trade James Robinson to the Jets. The Jets needed a running back after losing their starter, their rookie, right? He's out for the season, Breece Hall. So they said, shit, we got to get somebody. So they go and trade for James Robinson. That's a good little pickup. Then you got Robbie Anderson going to the Cardinals, right? Astros are up 3. Thank you for the update. Astros are up 3 now. What inning, Eric? What inning is it? Fill us in, sir. So, the Browns picking up Deion Jones, a linebacker from the Falcons. I mean, it's just, there were so many trades, right? Cowboys, we picked up Jonathan Hankins from the Raiders, a run stopper, something that we needed because we do struggle against the run, as good as our defense is. So tons of trades that went down yesterday. I love it. It's just, I love when all of these trades go in. All right, so Stros are up 3, top of the 5th. Thank you for the update, Eric. Love it. So NFL's getting crazy. It's going to be a crazy second half of the season, right? I loved it, Philly. We got to play Philly again, but this time they're coming to Dallas, right? We still got to play the Giants again. This time they're coming to Dallas. Excuse me. I'm glad that we got those first 2 tough games out of the way on the road, right? We played, because I don't like playing the Giants and the Eagles on the road late in the season because the weather's nasty, it's cold, the Cowboys, we don't like it. So I'm glad that we played them early in the season in their stadium, and now they'll have to come to ours. So there we go. Eric gave us another update. Astros are up 3-0, top of the 5th. Love to see it. Definitely want the Astros to win. Of course, if you've been living under a rock, they are playing the Phillies, the Philadelphia Phillies, right? The series right now is Phillies are up 2-1 in the series, but tonight, game 4, Astros are winning 3-0, top of the 5th. It says Texans about to recall my free agent contract from 2010. Hey, they need all the bodies they can get, my man. The Texans, I don't know what's going on over there. They have a quarterback that I've never heard of. 4-0 now. Now it's 4-0 Astros. Texans have a quarterback I've never heard of. Don't know who he is. Crazy. So let's switch it up a little bit, right? So yesterday, if you are a rap fan, some surprising news as you woke up. Takeoff from the Migos was shot and killed in Houston, Texas, in the morning. It's pretty crazy, right? Takeoff being shot and killed. Something that people, were definitely surprised. I know I was when I woke up and, opened my phone, still laying in bed. It's about 6:30 in the morning, and I see that Takeoff has been shot and killed in Houston. First off, condolences to his family, right? Condolences to his family, and hopefully, they can make it through this tough time. But what it was, the early reports is that it was over a dice game. Apparently Quavo and Takeoff were in a dice game with some people. Quavo was getting upset that he was losing. An argument ensued, and somebody from the other group pulled out a gun, started shooting, and Takeoff was shot and killed. Once you get to a certain level, you can't go back to the hood. Hood folks don't act right. Eric, that's exactly what I said on my Instagram. By the way, if you haven't followed us now, 5-0 now, Astros. Jesus, I love it. If you don't know, you can follow the Ham Podcast on Instagram, _H_A_M_podcast, or on Twitter, _Ham_podcast. What I said is, all these rappers and these hood guys, right, that grew up hood, they always want to go back to the hood. Oh, I'm still hood. I'm still hood. Hey, good for you, right? I'm happy you feel that way. But a lot like Eric just said, at a certain point, once you hit a certain level of fame or money, stop taking your ass to the hood. Because let me tell you something. These young folks nowadays, they don't have any respect. They don't care who you are. They're only looking to make a name for themselves. And if they can make a name for themselves by taking your ass out, by killing you, that's exactly what they're going to do. And yeah, hood dudes are definitely jealous, man. They want what you got, right? And I know this. I grew up in the hood. I'm from the east side, right, of San Antonio. It's not a good neighborhood. And yeah, there is no respect, especially with these young cats nowadays, right? Back in my day, you know, God damn it, I just said that. I just said that online on a show that's recorded that will never go away. I just used the old man line. Back in my day. Oh, shit. There it is. That's it. End of shit. Everybody call it a night. No. But yes, growing up, we had respect for people that were, you know, higher up than us, that maybe had more money. We looked at it as, hey, I need to strive to be like that. Help me out. What did you do to come up like that, right? I want to learn. I want to get to that level. And I want to, you know, but nowadays these young folks, they don't look at it that way. These young folks are like, hey, if I can make a name off of taking this motherfucker out, I'm going to do that. So there's a lot of different stories coming out of Houston, right, about the whole Takeoff shooting. Some people are saying it was over the dice game. There's one story where this young woman called the radio station saying that it wasn't, that it was something that Rico Howard, you ain't got to call me out like that, my man. You don't got to call me out like that. But yes, some people are saying that it was something that started on the 5th Ward earlier that day, and an argument had ensued earlier. Some people are saying that it was Jay Prince's people that shot. You know, there's a lot of different stories. A lot of people are saying they were there. This happened. I saw this. This took place. It started at this place, right? I don't know. Obviously, I wasn't there when it happened. Just going back to you know, what I read and what I see. But either way, yes, the Migos should not have been playing dice with motherfuckers that aren't on their status level, right? And I get it, y'all want to stay hood, and these young rappers, you know, they want to maintain their hoodness. But you know what? Once you, like we said, once you reach a certain level, keep your ass out the hood, right? Rico Howard, you know it. He's an old head from north side of the age, so I feel you. Yeah. So, you know, once you reach that certain level, you have to say, you know what, I love the hood, I'll get back to the hood, but I'm not going to go do hood things because these hood motherfuckers are looking to make a name off of me, right? So Eric Alvarez, his new office in the 3rd Ward, you know, they already stay strapped, but now double strap. Yep. Much respect, Rico. Appreciate you joining the Ham Podcast, baby. Love to see it. Thank you. Once again, guys, you can follow me on Twitch on the Ham Podcast. That's Helmke and Mike on Twitch. Twitch is free to join. Go search it, one word, The Ham Podcast, all lowercase. You can go to our Instagram. It's in the link. You can also follow us here on Facebook or our Twitter, _ham_podcast. If you miss the show and you want to go watch a replay, you can always go to our YouTube page, The Ham Podcast. Subscribe, comment, watch the videos. Tell me what you want to talk about on the next episode. I'm all about it. I'm a man of the people, and the people's who I serve. So let's get it, right? So, you know, but again, condolences to Takeoff and his family. It's sad to see a young man leave the world at the age of 28. Life was still just being lived, right? He had a lot to go for. So, you know, condolences to his family. Let's move on now, right? Let's slightly move on to a political thing that went on, right? You had, I don't know if anybody in here, and again, not trying to upset y'all if you're not, but we had Paul Pelosi, right? There was a bit of a home invasion, and Paul Pelosi, husband of Nancy Pelosi, had his ass beaten in his house, right? Somebody was in his house, and they pursued to whoop his ass, apparently pretty badly. You know, Paul obviously is not a young man. You can tell by looking at Nancy. Paul Pelosi is not a young man, and they whooped his ass. Now, there's a lot of stories coming out, right? It was one man. from what I understand, one of the stories coming out is that this man actually had a list of government officials that he was going to visit. Apparently, he wasn't even there for Paul. He was there for Nancy. He was going to, take care of, beat up, I don't know, Nancy Pelosi. She wasn't home, so he took it out on Paul Pelosi, the husband. But apparently, he had a list of highly touted government officials that he was going to visit. Eric says, that was no invasion. That was some 50 Shades of Grey shit. I love it. Yes, I love it. But he had a list of government officials that he was going to visit, and Nancy Pelosi's house was just the first one on the list. But unfortunately, like I said, she wasn't there. Not unfortunately, I don't know if I want to say that. Fortunately for her, she wasn't there. But her husband was there, and he got his ass beat by this gentleman. And now they filed federal charges on him. Attempted murder, amongst another charge. I think they got him for like 4 or 5 different things. And he pled not guilty on all of them. So he's, I hope he's got a great lawyer. Because if you're pleading not guilty on those, and you were obviously caught beating Paul Pelosi's ass, and still plead not guilty, god damn. I mean, did you resurrect Johnny Cochran? Is that what happened? Because, man, you better have a damn good lawyer. Because they're coming for you. You do not mess with the government official and expect to get away with it. I don't care who the government official is, even if it's somebody that most people don't like. They don't take kindly to that. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen with that. It's very interesting, right? Very interesting. But only time will tell, right? Only time will tell. I'm sure that's going to be a lengthy, drawn out case. But I'm excited, right? Oh, here we go. We got Chilinsky. She caught him in paradise with Lady Glitter Sparkles. I love it. I love it. Welcome to the Ham Podcast. We got Chilinsky here. She caught him at paradise with Lady Glitter Sparkles. So apparently Paul Pelosi was at paradise. Y'all are crazy. I love my guests. Once again, guys, we're here live on Twitch, episode 46 of the Ham Podcast. I'm on Twitch. You can search it, all one word, all lowercase, the Ham Podcast. I'm also live on Facebook at the same time, episode 46. Thank y'all for joining. So another thing we want to talk about, right, is Elon Musk. He's taken over Twitter, right? All that other stuff is done. The court cases, the litigation of what happened, who did this, who did that, right? Who lied to who? All of that's done. And Elon Musk has taken over Twitter. First thing he did, he went in there and fired 3 of the higher ranked officials, right? And now he's facing a lot of criticism. He's talking about charging people for their everybody knows when you're verified on Twitter or Instagram, you get a blue check mark, right? It means you're verified. You got a certain amount of followers and paradise. Yes, you got a certain amount of followers and everything, and you've earned the right to get a blue check mark. Well, now Elon Musk is talking about charging to get that check mark. So he's saying anybody can get a check mark. All you have to do is pay $8.99 a month and you can get a blue check mark on Twitter. He's facing a lot of backlash for this. Of course, a lot of these influencers, as they call them, they're not going to want to pay. But hell, they're making a shit ton of money on these social media platforms, right? They're making millions of dollars on Instagram, millions of dollars on Twitter, right? Millions of dollars on TikTok. But they're complaining now that, hey, if Elon Musk charges us $8.99 on Twitter, I'm done. I'm pulling out. Here's what I'm thinking. And Elon Musk is this kind of petty. He's very upset about the whole deal and everything that went on with Twitter, right? Being lied to about the number of subscribers and all of that, because some of them were bots and everything. And once he finally won, I think Elon Musk is going to say, okay, I fired these 3 highly ranked people. Now I'm going to charge for the blue check mark, which I know people will not do it and they'll leave Twitter. And then I'll just close Twitter, right? I bought you just to close you down. And yes, Elon Musk is that kind of certified G. He will buy something just to spite you because you fucked with him and then shut it down. That's who Elon Musk is. So I foresee Twitter being shut down within the next couple years. He's going to say, I didn't really want it now, right? I wanted it at first. Y'all fucked with me. Y'all lied to me. And now I'm going to shut you down. And I'm going to not sell it back to you. I'm going to shut it down. And, oh, well, see you later, Twitter, right? That's Elon. He's petty like that, right? But he's also a mad genius. He's that kind of level of just like brain, like straight up chess match. And right now he's winning that chess match, and I'm excited to see where that goes. I have a Twitter account. I can tell you right now, if it helps my podcast, I'll pay $8.99 for a certified. No, right? But hey, man, it is what it is, right? The guy makes billions of dollars off of SpaceX. He makes his money off of Tesla. I mean, anything he touches, just about anything he touches is gold. So I'm curious to see where that's going to go. Okay. He is on some quantum leap stuff. I agree, Eric. I think he's time traveled this motherfucker, right? I think that Elon Musk has seen the future. I think he's been to different dimensions. And I think he says, we don't need Twitter. SpaceX, sure. I mean, look, man. Sir Knight jumps in on the podcast here on Twitch and says he's canceling his Twitter now. Sir Knight, I mean, I can't cancel my hand podcast Twitter yet, right? But I tell you what, for $8.99 and get a certified check mark, I might do it if I make money off of it. But no, it's funny, right? Now check this out, guys. Speaking of crazy, right? We're talking a little bit of craziness. There was a article on drinking and the deaths, right? They were studying the deaths that come off of just drinking alcohol. And this is very absurd. There we go. Chalinsky says certified G. I love it. So they did a study, and this is very crazy to me, right? So in this particular study, they were talking about the number of people that die based off of just drinking. Now, they said too much consumption of alcohol can be harmful. Now, this is what gets me, right? So, what did they consider too much? Okay. This is where I get a little nervous because So, CDC estimates that 1 in 6 adults binge drink. Okay. Defined on consuming 4 or more drinks on an occasion for a woman or 5 or more drinks on an occasion for a man. First of all, motherfuckers, they sell 6-packs. So if I buy a 6-pack, I'm already binge drinking? What the fuck? Like, no, I'm confused already, right? So why would they sell 6-packs if that's considered binge drinking? I already disagree, right? So they were saying anywhere from 1 to 2 drinks is a moderate, and then anything 3 to 4 is, or 1 to 2 is a good amount. 2 to 4 is moderate, and anything more than 4 is considered excessive drinking. Welcome in, Tim Godoy. Welcome into the Ham Podcast, baby. So, Sir Knight laughs on our Twitch page on the Ham Podcast, says 6 drinks, laugh out loud. I agree, right? First of all, if y'all know me and y'all follow me, Saturday nights is my night to drink, right? I don't drink Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Sunday. But Saturdays, I love to drink beer. I'll drink me a good 18-pack on a Saturday. Easy. 18-pack of Shiner. I'm not sponsored by Shiner, so I just want to clarify that, right? But 18-pack of beer, and I'm good, right? Hell yeah. Let me go take a nap now, go to sleep. I'm good. 18-pack. But you're telling me a fucking 6-pack is excessive drinking? Well, then I'm a goddamn alcoholic, I guess. Like, what the hell? Like, how are you telling me a 6-pack is excessive? Like, first of all, and this is what really gets me, right? So Sir Knight says, take a beer bath, you'll feel great. Take a beer bath, you'll feel great. I've never taken a beer bath, but you know what? That's on the bucket list. It's on the bucket list, people. I do want to take a beer bath. So, Sir Knight, you might have introduced me. Welcome in, Nathan Simmons. Welcome in, Elizabeth Marie, to the Ham Podcast. Once again, guys, if you don't already know, we are the Ham Podcast. This is episode 46. I am live on Twitch and live on Facebook. If you want to follow us on Instagram, you can go to _H_A_M_podcast, or you can go to our Twitter, _Ham_podcast. You can also go to our YouTube page, The Ham Podcast, baby. In case you miss any episodes or you want to rewind, maybe you just want a little background noise as you're cleaning and listen to two wonderful people like myself and Mike. You go to our YouTube, subscribe, comment, everything, baby. Tell us what you want to talk about on the Ham Podcast. We are men of the people, I tell you. Tonight, Mike has business to take care of. So instead of Ham standing for Helmke and Mike, tonight, since I'm by myself, it's Ham as in fat boy. I am a fat boy, so welcome to the Ham Podcast. All right, so yeah, that study was done in Boston, which is a little bit odd to me because does it have a blue check mark? It doesn't have one yet, but when that $8.99 starts, Eric Alvarez, it motherfucking will. No. But yes, so that study was done in Boston where they probably drink just as much as Texas people. So it's a little bit odd that they were saying that, right? A little bit odd. So want to make a little transition back to NFL, right? We were kind of mentioning it earlier. Eric Alvarez mentioned about the Broncos won't win nothing till they get rid of Russell Wilson. What's very crazy to me is it started coming out now that Seattle players are saying that Russell Wilson was never that good of a teammate. That and able to reach Russell, I believe it was Beast Mode where they came out and said this, and able to reach Russell, they would have to call somebody. That person would then contact Russell, and then Russell would call the teammate back, Marshawn Lynch or whoever it was. There was a middleman that you had to fucking contact to get a hold of your starting quarterback. That's mind-blowing to me. Apparently he wasn't a good teammate as far as in hanging out. He wasn't a good teammate as far as sharing the celebration, right? A lot of the ex-Seattle players are now saying, hey, you know, to him, it was always the congratulations should have been on him. It was never a team thing. It was always Russell did this. Russell is outstanding. He didn't like to share the limelight. And some of these Denver players are starting to kind of, without saying it, feel the same way. They're like, yeah, you know. And then you have these dumbass, Russell's stupid for this, right? Talking about on the flight from London or on the flight to London, I don't remember, he's doing high knees up and down the aisle to stretch out his leg, right? Because he had hamstring issues. He's doing high knees. I'm like, are you serious? You're that guy? You're going to talk about what you did on an airplane. You're doing high knees? First of all, Russell Wilson, you're not a small guy, right? So, but then again, their planes are probably bigger than the planes I fly on, right? American Airlines and shit like that. So maybe the aisle's a little wider, but you're going to tell me you did high knees up and down the aisle? Motherfucker, I got to walk sideways up and down that aisle just to get to my seat, let alone fucking do some high knees. Chalinsky says that's why he ain't shit during the week and twice on Sunday. I love it. Yes, I agree. Also, I want to welcome the new follower of the Ham Podcast, Chalinsky, here on our Twitch Ham Podcast. Welcome. Thank you so much. But yes, it's crazy. I think some of the dumb shit that he does, I really wish Future would just beat his ass already. I wish Future would say, you know what, everybody, don't worry about it. I'm going to go ahead and beat Russell Wilson's ass for us. I'll take care of this. But it hasn't happened yet, unfortunately. He probably has like bodyguards lined up in case Future shows up. But yeah, it's crazy, man. It's I don't know, Russell Wilson, I always thought he was a good guy, but then again, maybe it goes all the way back to college, right? Because he transferred from NC State to Wisconsin. So maybe at NC State, his teammates didn't like him either. He wasn't a teammate there. Went to Wisconsin for 1 year, then went into the league. The coach basically, rode him, hung on the coattails of Russ. They won a Super Bowl, right? Went to a second and lost. But Russ is trash. I agree. I think he was one of the more overrated quarterbacks of all time. I think he gets way more credit than he deserves. And I think now you see that now that he's not in a Seattle system and he's in a different team, he's really not that good, right? And that's what separates some of these great quarterbacks, right? You look at somebody like Peyton Manning, went from the Colts to the Broncos, still won a Super Bowl, right? Was still legendary. You look at Tom Brady, go from the Patriots to the Buccaneers, still won a Super Bowl, legendary, right? Russ can't do that, right? And you're right. Beast Mode only speaks the truth about, and he said that dude is a douche. And I agree. Eric Alvarez. That's one thing Beast Mode is a true speaker. For all the things that come out about Marshawn Lynch, one thing people will say is he's going to talk what's on his mind and he's going to tell you the truth, whether it hurts people's feelings or not. And yeah, for Marshawn to come out and say, yeah, that dude's a douche. Yeah, Chilinsky says I should join the NFL and kick his ass through the uprights. I'd pay to see it. I'd love to see it. You should do it, Chilinsky. First of all, I love the name Chilinsky. Guys, if you don't know where that's from, Google it. I'm not even going to tell you yet. If you don't know where the name Chilinsky comes from, Google that shit. And when you Google it, you go watch that. And I promise you'll love it. So Chilinsky, kudos to you for the name. I love it. Big shout out. One of the best names here on Twitch that I've seen. I love it. But yes, Russ is garbage. I feel bad because Denver really thought they were getting something, and in reality, they didn't. They got a douchebag, and really the only thing they got is Sierra. Right? They made a deal for Sierra. That's what they got. Sierra gets to walk around Denver now, and people can look at her and admire all that is Sierra. So shout out to Sierra. You are the better half of Russell Wilson. All right. Now, one last thing I want to talk, or not one last thing, we'll see. I'm a Spurs fan. Love the Spurs. And last year we drafted a good young player named Josh Primo. I was a little bit skeptical because I wasn't really sure who he was, hadn't really seen him play. And Josh Primo, after watching his highlights and seeing that he was only 18, I was like, well, damn, this kid can still grow. He can still develop, right? He hasn't even reached his potential as far as height, weight, all that kind of stuff. So I was like, all right, I'm looking forward to this. Well, earlier this week, it's announced that the Spurs cut Josh Primo out of nowhere. Just plain and simple, cut him. And it's very odd that the Spurs do something like that during the season, right? That's not something the Spurs usually do. So when I got that alert on my phone, I was like, whoa, we cut Primo? Like, not traded, cut. Not move him down to the G League like we did last year. We cut him. Very surprised. And all these different reports started coming out. And then Josh Primo released a report to an NBA, to Wojnarowski, saying, I got some mental health issues. I have some trauma from earlier in my life that I was never able to overcome, and I have to deal with that, right? I've got to learn to deal with this past trauma from my life. Then the Spurs are like, wait a second. You're not going to make it look like we didn't help you with your mental issue. So it came out that apparently Josh Primo was out here exposing himself to women of the Spurs organization. While they were on a road trip in Minnesota, he exposed himself to one of the hotel workers. So he's out here flashing people, he's out here just flashing women. One thing about the Spurs organization is they don't deal with that shit, right? If you're going to act a fool off the court, they're going to cut you. The only time I've seen them deal with something like that was Dennis Rodman. And that was a long time ago. That was before Popovich took over. And but then again, we're talking about Dennis Rodman, the guy who will go get you 40 rebounds a game, right? And then we're talking about Josh Primo, who's barely in his second year in the league. So yeah, it came out that he was flashing himself to women, and the Spurs said, we're not going to deal with that. So they cut him. He cleared waivers. Nobody's picked him up, obviously. Now, one of the women he flashed went and hired the lawyer that all of the women that Deshaun Watson's, those women that had issues with Deshaun Watson for the massage, she hired their lawyer. They all made out like bandits with money. So I can assure you, any of the money that Josh Primo got in his year and a half in the NBA, that's gone. He's going to have to pay these ladies. It's done. You're going to be broke. You're going to be back in where was he? Canada or France, wherever he was from, Josh Primo. Busby. Yep. So he's Primo's. Maybe somebody else will pick you up after this. I'm sure they will. You're a young player. You still got a lot to go, Josh Primo. But bro, you're a young man. Welcome in, Hector Terrazas, to the Ham Podcast. You're a young player, Primo, and you're out here flashing your weenie to these ladies when you could probably get any girl you want in San Antonio. or any city you go to, you're a young, good-looking man, and you're flashing your weenie to women and getting yourself in trouble. Eric Alvarez says, fighting Texas Aggie. I don't even know why I said that on this podcast. I mean, everybody knows it's hook 'em horns, baby. Hook 'em horns. Thank you. But yeah. So Primo messed up. Poor kid, right? He had a lot to go, and he's out here flashing his weenie to women for no apparent reason. Yeah, everybody knows, Primo, you can't do shit like that till you get to Deshaun Watson status, right? If you're going to do dumb shit, at least develop you as a star and then do dumb shit, Primo. You can't do dumb shit, then go be star. You did it ass backwards, Primo. Jesus, God. Haven't you followed the blueprint yet of Deshaun? No, I'm playing out there, everybody. Michael Viesco, welcome to the Ham Podcast. Welcome in. Chalisky said, immature Mo Freezer. I agree. Very immature. And he is. He's 18 years old, right? The kid has a lot to learn, not just in basketball, but in life. And hopefully he does get it together. And hopefully he learns that you can't do dumb shit like that if you want to stay a professional athlete. So, shout out to the Spurs for not dealing with it, right? The Spurs could have easily said, hey, we'll stand by you. And the Spurs aren't like that. The Spurs are like, you want to act a fool? See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. So we'll see what happens going forward for him. But my Spurs are surprisingly doing well. Yes, we lost tonight to the Raptors, but I think we're 5-3 now, which is way better than I thought they were going to start the season because we got a young team. But definitely excited for the Spurs' future. I think we're one true star away from being a playoff team, right? From what I hear, we're interested in going after Grant Williams from the Celtics. I would love for the Spurs to pick up Grant Williams. That would be fucking exciting. He's a good player, good young player. So that would be very, very exciting. Eric Alvarez, can I get an update on the Stros game? Last time we heard it was 5-0, top of the fifth. Astros winning. Once again, welcome in Wayne Miller to the Ham Podcast. Everybody live here on Facebook and on Twitch. If you want to go follow us on Twitch, Twitch is free to join. You can search us, one word, all lowercase, the Ham Podcast. That's ThehamPodcast. The Ham Podcast on Twitch. Twitch is free to join, lowercase, all one word, the Ham Podcast. You can also go to our Instagram, _ham, H.A.M_podcast, or our Twitter, _ham_podcast. We also got a YouTube page, baby. Go check it out. The Ham Podcast YouTube. Baby, we are certified. Go subscribe, comment, love it. We got 5-0 Astros, top of the sixth. Thank you for the live update, Eric Alvarez. So this week, Cowboys on a bye week. That means I can get wasted on Saturday night and not have to worry about waking up early Sunday. I love it. Thank you. I love bye weeks. But most importantly, one last thing I want to talk about is that extreme ripoff this weekend of Jake Paul beating Anderson Silva. Oh, I don't even know why I watched it. I didn't pay for it. I shouldn't say that. My friend paid for it. It was extremely horrible watching. I mean, you're talking about a young man in Jake Paul who fought a 46-year-old Anderson Silva, and Anderson gave him all that he could handle for 8 rounds. And then Jake Paul, goes on and starts talking shit about, I want to fight Canelo. Stop it, Jake. Canelo would put you in a body bag. Right? You would hear Cobra Kai in the background. Cobra Kai would be like, put him in a body bag, Johnny. Right? Put him in a body bag, Canelo. Right? Jake Paul doesn't need to fight Canelo. Keep fighting these old MMA guys. Keep winning. Make your money. Eric Alvarez says that was Lil Nas X type of fight. I agree. It was bad. Like, again, I didn't pay for it. My homie paid for it. He's a Jake Paul fan, so I let him pay. But, so I just got an update. We also got a no-hitter watch in the Astros game. A no-hitter watch in the Astros game. People, keep away from the Astros pitcher. Do not mess with him. Chalisky on Twitch says, wax on, wax off. Yes, the Karate Kid reference, everybody. Canelo would kill that dude. And you know what? I'd kind of like to. I'd pay to see that one, right? I'd pay to see Canelo put a beating on him. But guys, tonight's show has been amazing. It's been electrifying. It's been one of the best shows of my life. And I want to thank y'all once again. Yes, Javier on a no-hitter. I want to thank y'all once again for joining me tonight, Wednesday night, live on Twitch, live on Facebook, right? The Ham Podcast, episode 46. Thank y'all once again for joining me. It's been an amazing show. We had a packed amount of topics. It's been great. I want to leave y'all on these words. A wise man once told me, it ain't no fun if the homies can't have none. Let that sink in. Everybody have a good, safe week. Keep an eye out. We might have a surprise show Friday night. Ooh, surprise show maybe? We'll see. If not, we'll see you Wednesday night. But keep an eye out for the live. Once again, thank you for everybody who follows us. Chalisky says, that's why I tell my wife, hit me, but don't leave me. Exactly. Eric Alvarez, cutting into my film time. We're playing for a district. Hey, good luck to your team, Eric Alvarez. I hope y'all win that district title and go on to win state, right? Because that's the goal, is to win state. So good luck, my man. Tell those young men the Ham Podcast have their back. And hey, if you see any big hits, send me that film. I'll put it on the Ham Podcast. We love big hits here on the Ham Podcast. So, all right, everybody. Thank y'all so much. Enjoy your evenings. I am out. See you next week or maybe Friday. Who knows? Enjoy. Love it. Love it. Love it. All right, everybody. So we are out, guys. Again, like I said, I hope to see y'all soon. And let's have a great night. See y'all later.